Hello, my name is Adriel Lee. You could call me Professor Lee. And today, I'm going to teach you about a Soviet leader named Stalin. And he was a bad leader. Now, I'm going to start off with his early life. Joseph Stalin was born on the December 18th of 1878 to parents Bessarion Juashvili and Ketavan Geladze in the village of Georgia. However, when he was first born, he was considered a frail child who was quite weak and would get sick frequently. Because of this, the children who also lived in the village that he lived in would bully and tease him, which is not nice, and kids shouldn't do that. It can make them sick and twisted up there, which may turn them into a cruel and ruthless dictator. Anyways, additionally, when he grew up, he wanted to be acknowledged and respected. When he became 16, he got an invitation to the Tiflis Spiritual Seminary, where he was trained to be a priest. While he was there, he encountered a group called the Misami Dasi, a secret organization that wanted Georgia freedom from Russia. Members of the group showed him writings of Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin. He later joined the Social Democratic Labor Party and the Bolsheviks in the late 1800s and early 1900s. That's some of his early life.
Yeah, I'm Chinese. And what? Yeah, you know who this is. Jin, let me tell
While
you this.
working for these groups, Stalin was arrested multiple times when protesting for his movement and exiled to Siberia. However, for the many times he was arrested, he would almost always escape and continue to live in hiding and raise money through extortions, robberies, and kidnappings, all while planning for a revolution. Finally, in February 1917, the Russian Revolution began when Bolshevik leader Vladimir Lenin argued that the poor should rise up and take power for themselves by taking land and factories from the rich. This worked to absolute success. The Bolsheviks became a large power and were renamed the Communist Party of the Soviet Union while gaining control of the government. Later, Lenin started to have strokes and had to stay in the hospital to recover. During this time, Stalin used his position as general secretary to control the people in the party and to move his supporters into important positions in the central command. He took over the entire party and became the new leader. When the party eventually realized what he was doing, it was too late, as Lenin and his future successor, Leon Trotsky, were unable to stop him and regain control of the party. After Lenin died in 1924, Stalin was ready to destroy the old party leadership and take control. He removed his competition and enemies through denunciation and exiled them to Europe. He accused his rivals of allying themselves with capitalist nations and were executed them for being enemies of the state. Later, he did the opposite of what the Bolsheviks did to come into power by taking back the land from the people. Instead of owning the land, they were only allowed to farm it. Stalin believed that this would generate more food, but the citizens resented this and refused to work. Because of this, a large famine occurred and killed millions of people. He also started rapid industrialization, which accelerated Russia from an agricultural state to a military superpower compared to the US. However, this damaged the environment and cost the lives of millions. Additionally, any resistance was either exiled or executed.
Now, Stalin made a big impact on World War II also. So on the eve of World War II, Stalin signed a non-aggression pact with Hitler. So now that they're officially allies with Hitler, Stalin attempted to put the USSR as a big power and oversaw a neutrality agreement with the Axis power Japan. However, in 1941, Hitler broke the pact and invaded the Soviet Union. This attack came by surprise for Stalin, but for many people it was obvious that it was coming as Hitler viewed the Russians as inferior people. The invasion clearly started out in the favor of Germany, and they were estimated to win the war within a few weeks. However, over time, Germany started to falter and would often lose small battles to the Soviet Union. With these small victories, the Soviets started to push back against the Germans, but Germany regained control of the war. They regained the control of the war through mistakes that the Soviet army, as well as Stalin, calling out strange and bizarre orders in the war, such as Order Number 222, which called for Soviet soldiers to never retreat or surrender until death. Additionally, if you were caught disobeying the order, you could be executed for treason. While generally viewed as a way to boost morale for the army, the order wasn't empty, as an estimated 150,000 men were killed by treason. Germany continued to make its way towards the center of the Soviet Union. It wasn't until the Battle of Stalingrad that the war turned tables into the favor of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union would continue to fight and eventually invade Germany along with the Western Allies. Stalin also attended multiple conferences and meetings with other Allied powers. With the downfall of Germany and Hitler's death, Stalin always had a fear to his death that Hitler was still alive.
After World War II, Stalin continued his regime while participating in minor wars between East Asian countries. During wars between China and South Korea, he also befriended Korean leader Kim Il-sung, who was the grandfather of Kim Jong-un, the current supreme leader of North Korea. He also initiated the Cold War, which created tensions between the US and Russia. Stalin died on March 5, 1953. Even though he died, his ideas and methods are still in use in certain countries today. Stalin is a very controversial figure, with many considering him to be a tyrant and a dictator. However, in the Russian Federation and other communist countries, his regime is a debatable topic.
Bruh.